Majo John Madden at the north end of Playa La Bamba in Boca del Rio on the outskirts of Veracruz. And I'm reviewing my remaining attachments after really a lifetime of battling with my attachments and my judgments, and 4 years of pretty seriously getting loose of them. One remaining one is people who walk their dogs on the beach with leashes on them. I say that's a bad thing. And as I was walking, I walked way down there, as far as you could go, but the tide is almost high and still coming in. So I couldn't go as far as I had gone. And it's windier out there and much more sound of the waves. This is a real protected little spot here. But as I was walking the beach, there were a couple points where one guy had 3 dogs off leash, and I gave him a big thumbs up and said, "Perros Libros," so he would know that I wasn't disapproving, which people will do about that. And then another point, there was a couple that had a couple of dogs off leash. So that's a remaining judgment I have. It's a Costco store over there. American corporations in Mexico, I have judgments about that. Costco is a store that I have good judgments about. Big whoop, huh? My old teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, taught us not to be sure. Not to be so sure we're so fucking right about things. He'd say, "Well, which way is up?" And we'd all dutifully point up, right? Stick our fingers up in the air, and that's up, right? And he'd say our friends in China would not agree. In my 4 years of travel, I'm continually confronted with just when I think I've got it nailed, I understand a person or a city or a country, some piece of data will float up that kind of shatters the whole thing, and I go, shit, look how much you've been missing here. And what Thich Nhat Hanh would say about that is modern day science shows that the whole universe is contained in a mote of dust. And we think we know the person in the passenger seat next to us, right? They don't even have a clue. They may be discovering. They know a lot more than we do about who they are, and they only know a little bit, and I just know a little bit. About 40 years ago in Chicago, I think this was before Thich Nhat Hanh, before Ramana Maharshi, before waking up on June 26th of 19, before, way before all that. I went in the outskirts of Chicago. I went to a 10-day retreat in the lineage of a guy named S.N. Goenka, Goenka, and I think they called it Vipassana. That's it. Earlier on the beach when I was thinking about this, I couldn't think of the name of it. Vipassana, V-I-P-A, 1 or 2 S's, A-N-A. 10-day silent retreat. And I had my judgments about, I had lots of judgments about that retreat. Lots of judgments. But it was pretty powerful. It was all about cravings and aversions. What it is we want and what it is we don't want. What we judge as being good or desirable and what we judge as being bad. So I came out of that retreat, and I don't remember what I was driving at that time because I'm car focused, and so I've said sometimes you could tell the story of my life according to what I was driving at the time. I don't remember what I was driving, but I pulled up at the pump, and this was my first encounter with people away from the workshop, and I got aware that I was getting uncomfortable. I was getting tense. Some of my peace was being disturbed, and I realized I was having a craving for the car at the next pump. It was a Toyota Avalon, which I think was a new model back then, and it was gorgeous. They make them with a convertible. I can't remember if that was a convertible. I have a judgment about convertibles are good. ragtops. Oh yeah, baby. I've had a couple. So a couple days later, maybe the very next day, I was living in Rogers Park, is the farthest most north neighborhood in Chicago before you go up into the rich Evanston. And because that neighborhood had a reputation for being dangerous, gang infested, which it was not anymore, but those of us who were living in the apartments down there were keeping that a secret so we could afford our rent. But Loyola Beach was just outside my apartment. And it was a hot summer day, and probably a weekend day, and that beach was packed. Mile-long beach. I adored that beach, had so many amazing experiences there over several years, including it was a designated free dog leash. If you want to gripe about dogs being off leash, don't do it there, because nobody's going to cut you any slack for that. Before the lifeguards came on. So the lifeguards were on, and the beach was packed, and I was walking on the beach, and it was jammed with women in bikinis. And I was doing a pretty good job. Okay, you're fine, stay peaceful. But at one point, I was going to have to walk directly between two beautiful, scantily clad girls. And I said, fuck, what do I do? And the message came through: you do not look left, do not look right, continue straight ahead, don't look. And I didn't. I got really happy. There's mist. This mist is gonna rain on me maybe a little bit. Oh yeah, the wind just changed. The wind started to come off the land and off the north here. It just shifted around. Wow, that's amazing. It just changed right then. Yeah, so maybe that's God telling me it's a wrap. It's getting darker. I'm not gonna rush back to my car. Take my hand and said, don't rush. Rushing is poison. But I guess it's a clue. And I think that's the end of my story. Hopefully it's not the end of my story. My last video was about that. But look at this. The water is all getting ruffled with the wind off the land. Changes, that's okay. Impermanence, it's always changing, baby. It is always changing. Bye folks, have a good day.